So I'm just going to tell some personal Rent stories that touch on some common Rent debate topics because this musical has been a major part of my life since literally my 16th birthday, and I'm 35 now. Like, I've been sat down by parents and given like meaningful parental lectures because of stuff that happened in this musical, and Mark is a big reason why. So the reason why I ended up seeing Rent on my 16th birthday to begin with is because I didn't have a sweet 16 or a quinceañera or anything. My mom was like, whatever you want to go see, I will take you to see it. And I didn't know much about it, but I wanted to see Rent. So my mom, bless her heart, without asking any questions, she gets us 2 tickets to Broadway on for Rent, the original run in 2006. And on February 3rd, we sat down in the theater, and I don't know who was playing Maureen that day, but whoever was playing Maureen on February 3rd, 2006, you changed my life. You altered my brain chemistry. And my mom, bless her heart, she was like, "Oh my god," when she like dropped her pants in the middle of La Vie Boheme. But that was just, it was just the height of subversiveness to me at that age, being like as religious as I was and as sheltered as I was. So cue the rest of my high school career being absolutely obsessed with Rent and getting even more into Broadway musicals than I already was. And around the time that my friends and I are starting to head off to college, Rent closes down, and then they do the film live on Broadway. And I see this woman play Maureen, and she changes my life even more. I saw Eden Espinosa do Elphaba in Wicked in like 2004. So she was already my favorite Broadway actress, and then she did Rent film live on Broadway, and now she's just solidified in my head as that. But back to brassy chlorine hair here. My dad decides to take me and a friend of mine who has been obsessed with Rent, but even more obsessed than I was, like is planning tattoos of it levels obsessed. He takes me and him to the theater to watch Rent film live on Broadway. And my dad, who has never seen this show before, he just knows that his kid likes it and all her friends like it. We sit down and we watch the show, and he's just very, very quiet throughout the whole thing. And he gets quieter whenever Mark is on screen. So then, like, the show ends, like, the movie ends, we leave the theater, and the first thing out of my father's mouth is he looks at us and he just goes, "Never, ever, ever do what Mark Cohen did. I will be mad at you if you do." And me and my friend are like, "Oh, scandalized." Like, why? Like, Mark is like the protagonist of the musical. There's many protagonists of this musical, like they're all on their own separate journeys. But Mark is the narrator, he's the point of view character. We're supposed to empathize with him. And my dad was like, "No, absolutely not. That was the stupidest thing he could have possibly done. He would have had a good job. He would have had time to be creative." And he basically gave up a steady income to do what is essentially a PowerPoint presentation about how much he loves his friends. And we were like, "Oh my God." And while I think my dad is valid for that kind of crash out, I also think that the 2008 job market and the 2025 job market is very different from the 1996 job market. Mark giving up Buzzline is not really like the bane to his career that it would be in 2008, like moments before the financial crisis, and in 2025 when we're all getting fucked by tariffs and shitty administrations and authoritarianism and all that shit. 1996 is a different time. It's fucked up for a whole lot of other reasons, but I was 6 when this show came out, and I, being 6, was not aware of like all of the political issues and all of the societal issues that culminated together to ground this musical in reality. But I don't think the job market was the problem for these people in 1996. I think it was the AIDS crisis. It was, being gay and being discriminated against, that kind of shit. So we both promised my dad that we would never make like a decision like that. And I have mostly kept to that promise. I have a day job, that kind of thing. But I could see how Mark's decision to leave Buzzline is seen as a lot stupider nowadays and during the time that my dad was exposed to this musical in 2008. To continue the debate that my friend and I had with my dad really wasn't as upset with Benny as we have always been, because at the end of the day, yes, Benny was trying to create like a financial and creative opportunity for his friends. But at the same time, though, he was pushing them out of like their place to live, which was literally a slum. He put his friends in a fucking slum. Benny is a slumlord. But I think it just goes to show like how much more this musical has to give philosophically and debate wise than I think it's given credit for. As for Maureen, I understand that she's done some fucked up things. That being said, though, I think that everybody in this show has done some fucked up things, except for maybe Joanne. Maureen is as morally gray as anybody else in this show, but she's just louder about it. Meanwhile, we kind of forget, like, Roger is kind of a raging fuckboy. Mark does have, like, certain entitlement issues. Benjamin Coffin III is a fucking slumlord. Mimi, even though, like, she's very young and very sick, she is taking part in an extramarital affair, and she knows it. Angel killed a fucking dog. Collins is, you know, hot wiring ATMs and shit. Like, nobody comes out of this show clean, except for maybe Joanne. So I understand why you want to fight Mark. And honestly, I don't know you, but I think you'd win. Like, you could probably take this man. Also, as a sidebar, I would love to see a Mark get portrayed, like, a little bit more explicitly as being as fucking in love with Angel as he clearly was. Like, for what you own, for Roger to be hyperfixating on Mimi and for Mark to be hyperfixating on Angel, like, come on, man. I could talk about this show forever, y'all. I could talk about a lot of Broadway musicals, actually, but Rent, I think, is very near and dear to my heart just because I've loved it for so long, my friends have loved it for so long, and my parents have really strong opinions about it.